our Grand Marshal.
Before my remarks, I would like to introduce members of my family that are here to share in this honor. First, I have my son John, a bank executive, with his wife Michelle. Here with her husband, Dr. Steve, and their son, John Cleaver. Now, I can't tell you how proud I am to be here as the Grand Marshal of this great event where we pay tribute to that intrepid Italian navigator, Christopher Columbus, who changed the course of the world when he discovered America in 1492. Now, when I went to school and I learned that Christopher Columbus had discovered America, I wondered why our country wasn't named after him. And I still wonder. But apparently at the time that he was sailing in the oceans with his caravels, the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, there was another Italian navigator who was making a great name for himself off the coast of South America. His name was Amerigo Vespucci. And so when it came time to name our country, for some reason or other, they chose Amerigo. So our country was named America. But when you think of it, that gives us Italian Americans the advantage of saying that our country was discovered by one Italian and named after another Italian. So that's quite a combination. Now I would like to turn to my parents. My parents were both born in 1885 in a small city called Agnone, famous for making bells in Italy. And it's situated about 75 miles northwest of Naples. And my mother and father grew up living about 3 doors away from each other. And as they grew older, my father became very, very fond of my mother. And at one point he proposed marriage. And my mother didn't care for my father. But he persisted and persisted and persisted. And she finally came to the conclusion that the only way that she could escape his clutches was to come to America. So she took the 75-mile trip to Naples, got on board a small boat, and rocked and rolled all the way to Ellis Island. And she then moved in with some people in Jersey City. And she soon realized that they were taking advantage of her, almost making a slave out of her. And in the meanwhile, my love for my mother still burned in my father's heart. So he made the trip to Naples, came across the Atlantic, went through Ellis Island, wended through to Jersey City, found my mother, proposed again. And at that point, to coin an expression, he was the lesser of the two evils. So they got married. And they moved into a small apartment. I think the rent was $7 or $8 a month. And then it came time for my father to provide for him and my mother. But he couldn't find a job because of the language barrier. So he decided he would earn a living by making wine. And so he had to find an outlet for the wine, and I had an uncle who owned a butcher shop, so my father made a deal with him. And so my father made this wine in gallon jugs, and he brought it over to the butcher shop for my uncle to sell. And my uncle tasted it and promptly diluted it because he thought it was so good, and he increased the profits. I don't know whether he shared